If you're new to AI filmmaking, or maybe you've been doing AI filmmaking for a little over a year, you realize that there's no shortage of AI tools out there on the market competing for your dollars. Like literally, there seems to be a new AI tool coming out every week, if not every single day it seems. From the recent release of Sora, and now the upcoming release of Google's Veo 2, how do you decide on all of these different shiny objects, especially if working with a limited budget? Over the last 60 days, I've been really diving headfirst into AI filmmaking, testing things extensively, subscribing to multiple different tools, and with that, I've developed some insight into the top 5 tools that you absolutely need as an AI filmmaker going into 2025. And I'm going to be giving you these recommendations based on my own projects, my own workflows, things that you've actually seen me do here on the channel, like the recent release of my first ever AI cinematic music video, which by far has been the most extensive thing that I've done in terms of AI filmmaking to date. With that project alone, I probably generated well over 30 to 50 video clips, which doesn't include the ones that you actually saw in the music video itself. And because I had to generate so many video clips, I was actually able to push these platforms to their limits and really see who outperformed and who outperformed consistently, as well as the platforms that just turned out to be a complete waste of time and money. So going into 2025, if I was limited on budget, or maybe if I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of different tools, what would be the absolute top 5 cinematic AI filmmaking tools that I recommend for AI filmmakers in 2025? We're going to get into all of that in this video, so be sure to watch from beginning to end. What's going on, everyone? Paul Adonis Maximus here. Thanks for checking out the AI Filmmaking Advantage, where here we talk about how to make and monetize AI filmmaking. And once again, if you haven't had a chance to check out the AI cinematic music video that I just released on this channel, make sure you go and watch that after watching this video, because that project is going to form the basis for most of my recommendations that I'll be making in this video. Because again, I've been doing AI filmmaking a little bit over 60 days now. I only got started at the end of October. And in terms of all of the different AI short form content that I've been experimenting with, that music video is by far the most ambitious project that I've made on this channel to date. And because I exerted a lot of effort in a very short amount of time over a wide swath of tools, I now understand for myself the only tools that I need for either my next music video project or my first narrative AI short film project. And in that same vein, I now understand some of the tools that I could probably just do without, save some money and not miss them whatsoever. And with that said, let's get right into the video. And so as you may have heard by now, Google just released their Veo 2, which is their own version of a video generation model. It looks very impressive, but the problem is, as of right now, and I don't know when they plan to announce when it's going to change, but as of right now, it's only text to video. And the problem with text to video, obviously, is that you do not have full control over the creative output. If you input the text prompt, dog swimming in a swimming pool, then whatever generates is what you get. That is why text to video is not very optimal for AI filmmakers. So until Google adds image to video for Veo 2, and who knows, they may never add image to video for Veo 2, that in my opinion is not going to be the play unless you're just looking to do some B-roll. As it still stands today, the #1 AI filmmaking tool that you need going into 2025 is Midjourney. And guys, as someone who loves the Flux model as well, Flux makes some very stunning photos, especially when it comes to humans. There still is not another image generation type software on the market that comes even close to the types of images and creativity that you can have with Midjourney. And as I'm showing you right here, these are some of the images that you saw in that music video that I just released. And this was using one specific SREF, which was this SREF right here. And SREF simply stands for style reference. Someone on X posted this style reference, and I decided to use this style reference in the music video. And the cool thing about style references is that the images that you use with it are very consistent across all of the images that you create. This was a different style reference that I used that I also got from X. And just as you can see right here from all of these images that I generated, using the same style reference is going to give you the same exact vibe across multiple different images. Now, why is that important? If you are going for a certain look and feel for a narrative short film that you're creating, using style references allows you to do that. So you can think about style references as like color grading. If you guys are familiar with color grading in filmmaking, you can use different kind of color grades to give you a film look. And it could also give you different kinds of types of film look, like Kodak. And just real quickly, to get an idea of what color grading is, if you're not familiar with it, this is very popular in filmmaking, to where you take the raw footage and you add a certain look to it. A easier example to think about is something like Blade Runner 2049, the one that came out in 2017. Or if you think about The Matrix, which I'm pretty sure is on this list as well. Let's scroll down and see. Or Vertigo. Well, I'm actually surprised that The Matrix is not on this list. But they've got films like 2001: A Space Odyssey that was made by Stanley Kubrick. Just wanted to point this out to you for context. Now, Midjourney has also released something called mood boards, and this is supposed to allow you to achieve the same thing. I've not actually played around with mood boards just yet, but I'll show you an example of one that I've started with. Here's an image that I added to this one that has a particular SREF attached to it. And if I go back to all of my photos, you'll see that I have other photos to where I've used the exact same SREF, such as with this particular image right here. And the other photos from the one that I just showed you recently are the photos right here that have the same style reference attached, as I mentioned. Now, that's just one aspect of Midjourney that makes it so awesome. The other aspect is that the images that you imagine in Midjourney just turn out to be, for lack of a better word, much more imaginative. And let me explain this by quickly comparing Midjourney to Flux in this regard. As you can see right here, I've created a folder where I've put all of the images that I've made of various creatures and monsters on Midjourney. And it has just been my experience that Midjourney does a much better job with actual ghoulish type monsters. If you think about something that you would want to see in a film, you want your monsters to look menacing, you want them to look ferocious, you want them to look like they're going to tear some shit up. Midjourney just does a much better job of this than Flux. And just so that you see this for yourself, we're currently in free pick, and I'm going to show you some examples of some of the monsters that I've tried to generate using the Flux model. And I noticed this very early on, even when I got started with AI filmmaking around Halloween, when I was trying to create very scary, ghoulish looking type generations, they just looked very tame. And again, as you see, this was Flux 1.0, and this was the type of prompt that I used here that I probably just took from Midjourney and dropped over here. And these were the types of monsters that the Flux model gives you. They don't really look all of that menacing, if you ask me. And to compare the two, what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to take this prompt right here. I'm going to go back to Midjourney, and I'm actually going to use the exact same prompt. Let me see what my settings are. Stylization at 200. I'm going to reset this just so we're playing on an even playing field, and let's see what we get from Midjourney. I don't know about you, but these monsters look way more menacing. I would definitely like to use this one in a short film. I would like to use this monster in a short film. This one looks even more mysterious and menacing. It almost looks like a spider type creature almost. And this creature looks pretty menacing as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the prompts that was in Midjourney, like this one right here, that I created early on when I got started with AI filmmaking. I'm going to go back to free pick, and we're going to see what this prompt does using the Flux model. So I'm going to make it 16 by 9. We're using the Flux 1.1 model, and let's go ahead and generate 4 of them, and let's see what happens. Again, guys, it's kind of close to some of the images that I generated in Midjourney, but not as much detail that the monsters in Midjourney gives. So if we compare this image to this image right here, I would say this image has way more details in terms of the creature's aesthetics. This one's got these jagged spikes versus this one that has the smooth skin, and they all kind of have like that smooth looking skin going on. This one has a few spikes. This one one has some spikes. Same with that one. But again, they just don't look as menacing as the monsters that I've been able to generate within Midjourney. I mean, look at this one. This was like one of the first creatures that I ever created in Midjourney. And the only reason I wouldn't turn it into a video is because the guy right here, he doesn't look all that scared. The scene doesn't really match. You got this monster basically screaming his head off at this guy right here. And he's like, dude, I just got off from a 12-hour shift. I ain't trying to hear it. I'm headed home. But again, I've not been able to get anything close to that using the Flux model. And I think the Flux model is just trained to not give you menacing looking characters. And of course, not to forget, the main reason you want to use Midjourney is because you want to come in here and make some very badass photos and then turn those photos into videos. And that is the reason why image to video is vastly superior to text to video, which I talked about a bit earlier, because again, you could come in here and make some do you imagine how much it would cost to have an illustrator make something like this for you without AI? AI has allowed us to imagine and dream up things that we've never thought of in our wildest dreams, which sounds a bit cliche, but literally, I would have never imagined, at least in my lifetime, that I would be able to generate something as awesome looking as this without it costing a fortune. So that is why the very first tool that you would want to have going into 2025 is Midjourney, which serves as your creative base for generating all of the scenes that you would need for your AI film. The second top tool you would need as an AI filmmaker in 2025 is FreePic. Now, FreePic is a huge app. They have lots of different tools, lots of different components, even outside of this AI suite that we're looking at right here. I mean, it's almost on par with Canva, and this could easily turn into a 4-hour video or more, which I have no desire to do. So I'm not going to go into all of the different bells and whistles that FreePic has. We're only going to focus on one particular tool that they have that is exceptional. There's nothing else out there on the market like it, and that is their image upscaler. And to quickly demonstrate, because you're probably looking at this and saying, hey, didn't we just see that image over in Midjourney? And you would be correct, because that is my current workflow. Midjourney gives you the option to upscale your images either using the subtle button or the creative. And I'm going to do both, so let's just go ahead and do that now. But once they generate, you're going to see why I actually choose not to upscale the images in Midjourney. I just download them raw, take them over to FreePic, and upscale them there. And so this is a creative upscale within Midjourney, and as you can see right here, it has that C letting you know that that's creative, and it's not too bad, right? It still looks very good, very detailed. I would still use this in an image to video generation. And here's the subtle upscale version that's denoted by that S right there. Again, looks very good. I actually think this image looks a lot better than the creative upscale because it's a little bit more darker in terms of the paint. If we go to the creative one, you see it kind of gets a little bit lighter. I like that darker shade, and it looks to have a little bit more defects on it to make it look more mechanical. Some of those defects look to turn a bit smoother looking on the creative upscale. So again, I think the subtle option wins here because it just looks like a much more metallic and mechanical type image. But if we go over to FreePic, this version was the raw download that I did from Midjourney, and when I took it into FreePic, I did a subtle upscale, and this is what it looks like afterwards. If I can get these to line up side by side, I'm sorry, but this one over here just looks a lot more crisp, a lot more realistic, in fact, than the one in Midjourney that's been upscaled. And you don't even have to stop there. I'm actually going to see what this upscale looks like using a wild setting. So I'm going to come up here into the imagination panel. I'm going to click on wild, and I'm going to hit upscale. And as you can see, this does something even further to the image to where it looks a lot more realistic. So this was the upscale before using the subtle imagination, and this is what the upscale looks like afterwards. I would absolutely use this version of the upscale in an image to video generation. I mean, look at the chassis, look at the wiring, look at the LED lights. All of that looks exceptionally stunning. And that is why using the upscaler in FreePic, which is also the same exact upscaler, if you were to go over to Magnific AI, if you're familiar with that outfit. So Magnific AI, which is pretty much the #1 top upscaler on the market to date, There's nothing else out there like it. They were acquired by Freepik in early 2024. So rather than having to pay for this tool separately, you get to use the very best image upscaler on the market within Freepik. Again, it's the exact same thing from Magnific AI because they were acquired by Freepik. Therefore, you are getting the very best image upscaler currently on the market. This upscaler also works very well on humans. And just to quickly demonstrate that, all of the images that I used for that music video project had all of them upscaled to the wild imagination, which out of all of these settings, this one is the highest one that you can go. Further than wild, you'd have to click the custom button and play around with the controls, but I like that Freepik has made it very easy for you to not have to figure this out. And again, if you see what it looked like before, this was the image that came raw from Midjourney. That's what it looks like with the wild imagination applied. Here's another image from that music video project. This is what it looked like downloaded raw from Midjourney. And this is what it looks like with the wild imagination upscale applied. Here's another image from Midjourney that was in the music video. This is the before, this is the after, and I'll show you one more, before and after. Now, Krea AI also has an enhanced tool that doesn't look too bad. As you can see, that's the before and that's the after. The problem is they don't make it as easy for you to figure out the optimal settings that you need for this tool. You basically have to keep playing around with these configurations until you get it looking exactly how you need it. Like even the presets, they've got flat, sharp, strong, reinterpretation, oil painting, digital art. And the problem is you'd have to spend a bunch of credits trying to figure out which setting you'd actually need. I like how Freepik has just made it very easy for you with the push of a button. If you want to keep the image as close to the original image as possible, then you'd click on none and you'd upscale to either a 2K or a 4K resolution, which does not cost you any credits. But if you want the image to change a bit slightly, you have the subtle imagination, the vivid imagination, the wild imagination, and then you can come into the custom feature and play with these controls. This is way more streamlined and it's less things for you to spend a bunch of credits on trying to configure for the most optimal output. So this is how our workflow is shaping up. We're using Midjourney as the starting point to create the scenes for our AI filmmaking projects, and then we're bringing those scenes over to Freepik to upscale them so that we're getting the most detailed image as possible, which is going to make our image to video generations look like something out of a big budget Hollywood production. So number 2, for 2025, one of the tools you absolutely cannot do without as an AI filmmaker is the upscaler within Freepik. Let's move on to number 3. The third tool that you would absolutely need in 2025 as an AI filmmaker, which shocked me actually, is going to be Runway ML. And here's why. Now, me just sitting here telling you that you need Runway is not going to really convince you, so I'm actually going to show you using data. And what I'm actually demonstrating to you right here is this. Out of Hailuo, out of Kling, out of Luma, Runway was the image generator that I had the absolute most success with in terms of generating image to video generations for my music video project. Between Runway itself and using Runway via RenderNet, I generated 17 videos that actually ended up in the music video with Runway alone. Again, for my music video project, which I generated lots of clips that didn't even make it into the music video project itself because at various other platforms, those clips just failed, Runway was the #1 image to video generation tool. And again, this really shocked me because if you follow me on X, you'd see that I'm often complaining about Runway and how they produce these videos to where it doesn't seem like the person in the video is moving at all. It's just like they're frozen. And it just really didn't seem to have very good prompt adherence. And as you can see, I really went through my credits. I've literally got enough credits to generate one video, and I'll explain what my strategy with Runway is going to be going forward now that I can save a bunch of money by downgrading my ChatGPT plan from the Pro to Plus, because apparently they're not going to do anything else with Sora. I don't believe they're going to improve Sora. They're going to do Sora just the way they did DALL-E, which is do nothing with it. So it really doesn't make any more sense to be paying for ChatGPT Pro when when all they've done is just tacked on a useless video generation tool that they don't plan to support. Anyway, rant over. And again, I was very shocked at how well Runway performed against all of the other video platforms that I'm subscribed to, and I'll have to do a video to video comparison in another separate video, but here are some examples of where Runway just really nailed it. And again, I really didn't need much movement, much of anything going on in the scenes. I just needed them to actually work and not hallucinate, something that Hailuo was completely screwing up. I just needed a cinematic shot as simple as something like this. Again, you see the fog moving against the lights, and she's got some movement going on here. You can see that the camera itself is zooming out a bit. And that is mostly due to the fact that Runway has introduced something that really helps get around the issue you have with prompt adherence with the tool. So if you go here and you click on camera control, if you were to add an image, I'm going to add one real quick, then these camera controls open up. If you don't want the camera to move, you just click on static mode, and that seemed to work perfectly. If you want the camera to pan, then you would drag this slider either left, I believe it goes up if you do it that way, or right if you want the pan to go down, or you could manually enter numeric values, and you can do this for all of them. If you want the camera to tilt, if you want the camera to roll, if you want the camera to zoom, you could do that all right here and then run your image to do just that. And one of the things I do want to say is that you want to actually clear this first, because if you're trying to do a tilt and pan, you know, that may work. I mean, you could obviously do a panning tilt if you had a film camera, but if you don't want to run into issues where you're confusing the AI too much, I honestly wouldn't try to do too many of these camera controls at once. And again, guys, these camera controls actually worked a lot better than the camera controls in Clean. And so since I've already showed you some examples of the scenes from Runway that made it to my music video, I'm not going to generate any videos here because again, I'm down to 25 credits. I literally can only generate one video, and if it comes out screwed up, that's all I can do until I load up more credits. But as I mentioned earlier, what I'm planning to do going forward is once I downgrade my ChatGPT Pro plan back to the Plus plan, rather than pocketing the savings from that, I'm just going to spread that money out over the best video generation tools that I've already got. So I'm currently on the Pro plan for Runway ML, and I'm just going to upgrade to the unlimited plan. And again, since I've already used up all of these credits that they also give you in the Pro plan, then I would basically be in what they call their explore mode. It's their relax mode. Same thing Midjourney has. If you run out of fast hours, then you're put into relax mode. And I believe that's the same thing that Luma Dream Machine has if you use their unlimited plan as well. If you run out of credits, then you get put into a relax mode. Now, obviously, if you don't have 95 bucks lying around to put toward this, you'd want to go with the Pro mode or the standard mode, because the standard mode at least gets you out of having the watermark. But I will tell you that you'd run out of that 625 credits very fast. And just to be clear, for this music video, I did not use all of these credits on this particular project. I was already doing some stuff with Runway earlier in the month. Then I decided to do this project, and I used whatever credits I had left. And just to quickly mention, I also have rendernet.ai, and through that, their video creation tool is powered by Runway. So I was able to kind of spread those credits out like that. But I will say, for whatever reason, I spent more time trying to get the clips to work in RenderNet for Runway than I did at Runway's website directly. I don't know why that is. It just turned out that way. But even still, with all of the attempts I had to make to try to get Runway at RenderNet to work, it still worked out a hell of a lot better than Hailuo, which was the weakest out of all of them. So if you only had one image to video tool that you could choose as your top go-to AI image to video generation tool in 2025, I would say Runway ML is going to be your best bet. Obviously, they've got all of these other cool features like Act 1, and then it now looks like they've got custom characters, custom style, custom objects. I don't know how long they've had this. This may be absolutely new, but if they've had it for a while, this is the first time I've clicked on that tab today and saw this stuff before I started creating this video. So I'm going to have to come back and make videos exploring these custom elements. Now, if Runway is your top choice for image to video in 2025, and you have enough budget to bring on another image to video generation tool, then what is the fourth top AI filmmaking tool that you would need in 2025? The fourth top AI filmmaking tool that you will absolutely need in 2025 is Luma Dream Machine. And I'm not even talking about all of the new features that they have with the storyboarding, because I didn't use storyboarding for this particular music video. All of the images, as I mentioned earlier, came from Midjourney, and I only used Luma Dream Machine to generate videos. Now, a bit earlier on, Luma Dream Machine was another one of the image to video apps that I had lots of gripes with. In October, when I got started, most of my image to video generations with Luma Dream Machine sucked. And I'm even on record on my X feed or in other YouTubers' videos talking about how bad Luma Dream Machine was. Well, guess what? As it turns out, between Luma Dream Machine, the app itself, and generating videos using Luma Dream Machine via Krea AI, this was my second top image to video generation tool, generating 14 video clips that made it into the music video. So we've got 11 video clips that was generated directly in Luma Dream Machine itself, and then 3 different video clips where I used Luma Dream Machine within Krea AI. And if some of you are thinking and asking right now, why haven't I mentioned Krea AI in terms of being a tool that you can use to generate multiple videos from multiple different image to video or text to video generation tools at once? That is because there's just something weird going on with Krea AI. I often run into this issue to where I'm trying to generate an image to video generation, and then you'll get something like this. Sorry, this one failed. Please try a different prompt or model provider. Now, this right here was just of a spaceship, nothing crazy going on with it. And even with some of the other videos, I could literally take the exact same image and the exact same prompt over to the actual platform itself and run it with no problems. So again, as an instance, this right here, static camera of a flying spaceship, this job failed at Luma Dream Machine. And yeah, it's great you don't get charged credits for that, but it really slows you down, because oftentimes I would just take the exact same prompt and image over to the website of the platform itself and generate it without any problems. Or what will happen is I'll probably end up getting a generation that works, that I end up going with, which is also great. Or you could get a bunch of generations that you can't do anything with. Like, just on the face of it, this is probably the best image to video generation out of all of them, even though it doesn't look like there's a lot of movement going on. This doesn't look very useful because it looks like the spaceship is flying sideways. Same thing with this one right here. It just looks like it's flying crooked. But anyway, I've got other examples to where the generations would fail for other platforms, like it would fail for Runway or it fail for Kling, which really pisses me off because Kling takes the longest to generate. It'll go through its entire thing and then Kling would end up failing, or same thing with Hailuo. And the reason I'm not showing any other instances where it shows where it failed is because a lot of times when they fail, I just delete it because I don't like looking at that ugly notification saying that the image generation failed. I actually had to dig for that one that I just showed you a minute ago, because again, I often just delete them once I get that notification. So again, it's convenient that Krea has the option to use multiple different image generation software in one place, but I don't know if it's purposeful or not. But a lot of times the video generations will fail, and believe it or not, I've run into the exact same thing with FreePic. The video generations will fail, but if you take the same prompt and the same image to somewhere like Runway and you run the thing in Runway, it generates just fine. So just as a sidebar, that's one of the reasons I didn't include Krea in this list, because honestly, it's completely optional. I mean, they do have some cool things like the consistent character feature, and they've got some cool things going on with their edit feature that I'll get into in another video. But honestly, if you were looking to save money, you wouldn't miss anything cutting this out of your stack. So again, back to Luma Dream Machine, I used it strictly for my image to video generations, and they actually turned out a lot better than they have in the past. Now, the thing that makes Luma work very well is two things. One of the things that helps you a lot is the camera direction. So a lot of times I didn't even put in any kind of fancy prompts. I just put in the camera direction. Like for this one, it just literally says camera orbit left. And how you would do that is you would come down here after you add your image and you would just type camera and you come up with all of these options that you can use. You could say move left, move right, move up, move down, push in. And again, you see that orbit left right there. And this is what that ends up looking like, which is perfect because that's exactly what I needed. So again, this really saves you from tripping up the AI by putting in all of these prompts about trying to do this and this. And if you just need something simple as camera push in, camera pull out, static camera, then you can save yourself a lot of headache by just using these simple camera movement prompts. Here's another one, camera push in, and it did exactly what I needed. So the prompt adherence is very good over at Luma Dream Machine. Now there are some times that it can go off the rails, like this says camera move up, and yes, the camera's moving up, but you see her head kind of does something weird like that. That doesn't look good at all. And this one right here, it didn't follow the prompt at all. It's just a camera zooming out slowly, but she remains still. And I believe that video right there actually made the cut into the actual music video. The second strong point they have going for them is this. It used to be that if your video generations didn't work out initially, you would have to come here and upload the image again and do the prompt all over again and then run it. But what you can do now is if you get some videos that are very close to what you're trying to achieve, then all you have to do is come here and click more like this. Now I'm going to click this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the video that's going to generate is going to be a vast improvement on this, because this particular clip right here actually made it into the music video. But we'll go ahead and try it just so you can see what happens. And actually it looks like I'm out of credits. Let's go check this out. Yes, I've only got 112 credits left, and that was going to be the other thing that I talked about. What my plan is going to be the same way with the runway plan is that rather than going forward with ChatGPT Pro, I'm just going to move to the unlimited plan on Luma Dream Machine. As you can see right here, I'm currently on their plus plan. They give you 10,000 credits per month, but if you upgrade to their unlimited plan, you get unlimited use in the relax mode, which is the same thing that I showed you that Runway has, which is the same thing that Midjourney has. It's just going to be very interesting to see what that relaxed mode is like, because the relaxed mode in Midjourney sucks. It takes a long time for the images to generate, and you're just better off buying more fast hours as opposed to using quote unquote unlimited use in relax mode. And Luma Dream Machine does not allow you to buy more credits, so really the only option you have after this plus plan is to upgrade to their unlimited plan, which I do plan to do, because again, as of right now, my top two image generation tools have been Runway and Luma Dream Machine. So again, rather than pocketing the money I would save downgrading from ChatGPT Pro back to ChatGPT Plus, I'm just going to spread those coins out over these unlimited plans for Runway and Luma Dream Machine. And again, I also just want to note that I did not burn all of my credits on this one project. I was already doing things with Luma Dream Machine prior to this. In fact, there's a video on my channel demonstrating the brand new rollout of this new Dream Machine storyboard feature, and you can check out that video on this channel. But I will say this, which is something that you will have to be very cognizant about if you're not using the unlimited plan. Just on the face of it, it seems to me that the credits for Luma Dream Machine get used up very quickly. And then if you take into account using something like their storyboard feature that offers pretty much endless possibilities and variations on your prompts and inputs, yeah, you can run out of credits very quickly doing that. So again, thinking about Luma Dream Machine and which plans you potentially will go with at this particular point, if you can afford it, I would say go with the unlimited plan, because you're going to especially need it if you're going to be doing projects such as music videos or cinematic narrative films. You're going to be generating lots of clips. Not all of the clips are going to be useful, so you're going to need that extra bandwidth. So again, the fourth top AI filmmaking tool that you will need in 2025, hands down, is Luma Dream Machine. The fifth and final tool that you will need in 2025 as an AI filmmaker is Kling AI. Now, there are many badass features that Kling has, such as the motion brush feature, and they do have the camera movement features as well. But the biggest benefit of Kling AI is that the video quality of their video generations is currently unmatched. Hands down, Kling has the best video generation image quality out there without having having to do any further upscaling with something like Topaz Labs. The problem is the image generations from Kling just take a long ass time. Now, what's interesting is that I've seen on X that people are saying that Kling 1.6 is out. I obviously don't have access to it yet, so I don't know if the image to video generations are going to be a little bit faster on Kling 1.6, but I do know that on Kling 1.5, the standard mode is a little bit faster than the professional mode, but it is by far the slowest video generation app currently out there. And then when you start adding things like motion brush, which is only available in the professional mode, sorry, just had to disable the dark mode in my Chrome extension. For some reason, it doesn't remember the settings on this website, and I have to disable it often because Kling is already set up in dark mode. But where I was going is that once you start adding more things like motion brush and camera movements, I mean, camera movements itself could take up to 10 minutes. And that's what I was doing for some of these videos that I was generating for the music video project. You add one simple camera move and you see I have a zoom of -1 and it takes 10 minutes to generate. Also, I love that Kling gives you lots of credits to play with and it doesn't feel like you're burning through credits very quickly, but I only was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 usable video clips for this project. Here's the thing. Here's why Kling came in second to last in terms of the top video generation tools that I recommend. Hailuo was dead last, and I'm not even going to cover that because it was just ridiculous how it performed. And I get it. A lot of people like Hailuo because it's cheap. It's like $10 a month. And after $10, you have to jump up to 94 for unlimited. But I'm not sure if the examples that I'm seeing of Hailuo are mostly text to video. But I can tell you from my experience, and I'll have to do a completely different video on that, the image to video with Hailuo as it currently stands sucks. It's the second longest in terms of waiting for videos to generate, and then you usually get some unusable crap. I digress. With Kling, there was some crazy stuff going on with the videos that I tried to generate. For instance, you see what's going on with this, right? All the prompt says is a handheld shot of a young woman looking at the nighttime cityscape from her window. I don't know where the hell this came from, but not only did it happen once, it happened twice with the exact same prompt. That is just crazy. Here's another shot that just turned out very weird. And so if you think about all of the time that you're spending waiting for these videos in Kling to generate, and then you get a lot of clips that you can't even do anything with, even though the image quality looks spectacular, it's no wonder why you end up with lots of credits at the end of the month. Because honestly, I was trying to burn through as many credits as I could using Kling, but the image generations were just taking too long. And by the time I finally get something that shows up in Kling, and then it turns out something like this, I could have just taken the image over to someplace like Luma, which I believe I did, and get the actual image to video generation that I need that actually worked for the shot. But don't get me wrong, the video generations that worked very well. And what I do is I like to star those so that I can easily find them when I need to. In this video right here, this was actually the ending scene in that music video. I wasn't thrilled about it. I mean, it was all right. I mean, she does her head like that and she closes her eyes, but I was like, okay, this is the last scene that I'm waiting on, so let me just use it. But it didn't turn out too bad, and it actually followed the camera direction I gave it to, where I said I wanted the camera to zoom out by a -2, and it does very slowly. But for the most part, and I found this even with Runway as well, but not so much with Runway as I did with Kling, you would find that the AI would just ignore the inputs that you'd put for the camera controls and do whatever it wants to do. But maybe Kling 1.6 works all of that out. Now, in terms of pricing, Kling does not have an unlimited plan. On their highest tier, you get 8,000 credits per month, and if you want to buy additional credits, it's $1.15 per 100 credits. But I think you'd be pretty good with just the Pro plan or the standard plan. The Pro plan is what I'm currently on, and again, I really tried to burn through all of those credits because you really have to before your billing cycle comes up, so that you don't actually lose the credits because they don't roll over. The only credits that roll over are the credits that you actually purchase. So if you came here and you bought 1,300 credits for 20 bucks. Those credits will continue to roll over and they're good for 2 years. And honestly, if I was doing a project and I was doing an all clean project and I knew that I wasn't going to end up using all of the credits and I was going to have them in reserve as they roll over for up to 2 years, I would probably come here and I'd buy this $50 credit deal that they have going on where you get 3,500 credits and then finish my project that way. Because I'll be completely honest with you, 8,000 credits, that's a lot of credits, and you'd better have some kind of mega project that you're trying to do that will see you burn through all of those 8,000 credits. Because again, it's almost coming up on my rebuild cycle and I still have 1,600 credits that I've got to burn through or else I lose them. And again, if I had a project in mind where I only wanted to use clean, I would get these 3,000 and then I could come here and purchase 3,500 more, so that's 6,500. And even if I don't use all of the 6,500 credits, whatever is left over of this is going to get rolled over, as opposed to just losing whatever the balance of this 8,000 credits ends up being at the end of the month after you've done whatever you needed to do with the tool. So again, guys, that is my top 5 AI tools that you would need as an AI filmmaker in 2025 based on my experience. But what are your thoughts? Would you only need 3 of the 5, meaning you would work with Midjourney and Free Pick and then go with an unlimited plan with Runway? Or would you do something to where you'd get an unlimited plan with Luma Dream Machine and then try to further enhance your image quality by going with Kling and leaving Runway ML out of your stack? No matter what your mix ends up being, I would say you would at least need Midjourney and Free Pick as a base, or maybe you decide to go with Midjourney and Free Pick and then use the video generation tools from Hailuo, Luma Dream Machine, Kling 1.5, and Runway within Free Pick. Or maybe you decide to go with the Flux model. You decide you don't really want to do anything with Midjourney and then have your all-in-one tool for just one price 1 month. Let me know how you plan to go about your AI filmmaking in 2025 in the comments below this video. And if you like what we're doing here and you want to support the channel and get some cool perks and benefits in exchange, then consider becoming a channel member, where not only will you get things offered to members of this channel only, but you'll even be able to save up to 15% off the upcoming AI Cinematographer's Midjourney Playbook. For more information on becoming a channel member and the upcoming AI Cinematographer's Midjourney Playbook, be sure to click the link in the description below this video. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. My name is Paul Adonis Maximus. Thanks for checking out this video. Please join me in the next one.